right, we got some breaking news, as we seem to every night from the Washington Post. This on Dan Coats, who's the director of national intelligence, former senator in Indiana. He's one of the individuals that in previous reporting has been identified as a person the president reached out to attempt to get Coats to intervene to shut down the FBI's investigation, particularly into Michael Flynn, his former national security advisor. New details tonight on this. On March 22nd, less than a week after being confirmed by the Senate, DNI, Daniel Coats, attended a briefing at the White House. Again, I'm quoting the Washington Post here, together with officials from several government agencies. As the briefing was wrapping up, Trump asked everyone to leave the room except for Coats and CIA Director Mike Pompeo. The president then started complaining about the FBI investigation and Comey's handling of it, said officials familiar with the account Coats gave to associates. So this reporting indicates this is something that Dan Coats himself relayed to associates. It would seem to confirm prior reporting that the president had specifically asked various intelligence officials to quash the investigation into Michael Flynn. 2 days earlier, Comey had confirmed in a congressional hearing the Bureau was probing whether Trump's campaign coordinated with Russia during the 2016 race. Let me just highlight one other detail here. Again, this is just posted. The detail here of a post-meeting, everyone leave the room but for CIA Director Mike Pompeo and Dan Coats is identical to the MO that is in the reporting about when the president asked Comey himself to let Flynn go, to take it easy on him. That was also after a meeting in which he told everyone to go. Reportedly, Jeff Sessions wanted to stay behind. The president told him to leave and then reportedly said this to James Comey. So similar sort of pattern of behavior, it would appear from the reporting, if the report's accurate. And joining me now, Congressman Ted Lieu of California, a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. And Congressman, I know this report has just broken, but it does line up with some of the information we've had from reports about the president seeking various channels by which to stop the FBI investigation of Flynn. Your response?
Thank you, Chris. As a former prosecutor, there is a concept known as consciousness of guilt, an action that a person takes that an innocent person would not. And why would the president ask people to leave the room? Because he knows what he's about to do is illegal. This is obstruction of justice, endeavoring to influence an investigation. We've seen so much evidence of this, and we're going to see Comey talk about it as well on Thursday.
So you think this is, as a former prosecutor, and there's been debate about what the actual statute and the criminal threshold is, the consciousness of the party involved, but you think this is an example of something that you think is on its face obstruction of justice by the president of the United States?
Yes, and the most damning evidence are the president's own actions and words. No dispute he fired Comey. No dispute that he told the Russians that he did it to relieve the pressure on him. The White House does not dispute that account. That is obstruction of justice. I don't know why people tiptoe around this, say it looks like it or it could be. It is obstruction of justice. The statute is very broad. You just have to endeavor to influence, impede, or obstruct, and the president has already done that.
Do you trust that this Congress will take that seriously if that basic set of facts are reconfirmed in open hearing on Thursday?
I don't, but I do trust Robert Mueller. And I am very pleased a special counsel has been appointed. And the appointment letter gives him vast jurisdiction, not just to investigate Trump-Russia collusion, but anything arising from that, an obstruction of justice would be a crime arising from that investigation. Do you have confidence in the people around the president? I mean, one of the things that's striking to me is reporting the president is apparently mad at Jeff Sessions because he recused himself. It would appear, and again, we don't know, that Dan Coats and Mike Pompeo did not act on the request of the president to try to interfere in an active FBI investigation, that there's a sense of the basic norms of the people at least around him in these positions holding at this point, at least based on what we know. We're not even talking about norms. We're just talking about the basic rule of law. Yeah, it's a fair point. There is an incredible disrespect for the rule of law by this administration. We've got the president committing obstruction of justice. You've got the attorney general lying before Congress. That's perjury. You've got Jared Kushner omitting deliberately information on his security clearance form. That's making a false official statement, also a felony. So we are seeing something that we haven't seen before, which is not just breaking norms, it's people breaking the law.
And what's the accountability for that if that's the case? I should say, let me just say that Sessions maintains that was an omission on his part, essentially not intentional deception. He had not thought of it in the context of the question. Jared Kushner doesn't really have a particularly coherent story about why he put that on the SF-86. But where is the accountability here?
The accountability would rest with the special counsel, because if there's enough evidence for an indictment, what the special counsel would do is indict the individuals, and then Jeff Sessions can come up with his defense and try to convince people that, in fact, what he did was not perjury. But there's definitely enough for an indictment. That's how I view the evidence, and I do trust special counsel Mueller, and I hope he does the right thing.
Do you worry about pardons?
Perhaps, but keep in mind the president has to be in place to make the pardon. So we'll see what happens.
All right, Congressman Ted Lieu, thank you very much. Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.